What's up, YouTube? It's Geoffrey again. Today we're doing another creepypasta, a lost episode creepypasta. Today we're doing a double creepypasta called Spongecry.avi 1 and 2. I'm gonna read it word for word. However, now even though there are some creepypastas that have no swears, this one does have some swears, so I do have to say those swears. So if there's anyone that likes swears, feel free. But if there's anyone that doesn't like to swear, you can leave the video anytime you want. Okay, so here we go. Remember those old SpongeBob episodes, which some of us used to watch in 1999 from season 1? Well, recently a secret episode has been discovered from that time period. The other day I was searching through my computer when I came across a notepad document deep within Spongecry 2. I have no idea how it got there. I scanned it for viruses. It had only one Trojan in it. I deleted it and opened it up. All that was printed was one website link, followed by the following gibberish. Having not a single clue what it was or what it meant, I continued putting the site link up, which I won't tell you in case if anyone out there is fucking stupid enough to try it, into my web browser. It took me to a site where there was a huge black background and a huge button. It had the same text on it, which was in the same notepad document. I clicked on it, and it brought up a download link. The file was to be downloaded was called Spongecry.avi. As crazy as I am, I went ahead and downloaded it. Big mistake. The second the download finished, which was about 4.6 megabytes, my PC made the weirdest sound ever and turned off. As I tried to reboot it, nothing happened. The file must have destroyed my computer. As upset as I realized I was on my old PC. I hopped over on my Mac and re-downloaded it. This time there was no problem. What was downloaded was a single AVI file, so I played it. The movie was 6 minutes long and 4 seconds. It started out as any other SpongeBob episode would, except the color was distorted, and when he got to playing the flute with his nose, it immediately went to the title screen. All that was on the title screen were the following words: SpongeBob Cry. Only there wasn't any jaunty music like there always is. It lasted for about 2.5 seconds. It didn't show who the writers and directors were. I just assumed that whoever put it on there edited it out for time or something. The episode started out like this. It starts out in SpongeBob's house. It shows SpongeBob sitting in his red chair. The strange thing was, the other furniture was gone. SpongeBob was crying very hard, but it didn't sound anything like it does when SpongeBob normally cries. It sounded like a real human cry. But this was still different. It sounded so real and intense. SpongeBob was absolutely bawling. He was ripping chunks out of the chair. Then the camera zoomed in really close on his face. It was the kind of zoom as if it was being videotaped by a real person. Then the camera zooms to show a rotting corpse of Gary lying on the floor in front of him. It was very disturbing. Gary was absolutely mauled to death. His eyes were laying on the floor. His shell was cracked to reveal a rather gross image of the inside of Gary, which, quote-unquote, looked a lot more like the look of what he looked like when he lost his shell in the episode Shell Shocked. The camera was moving around like crazy. SpongeBob got out of his chair and ran straight forward. Then the episode stops moving for about a second and it goes black for 2 seconds. Then it comes back with SpongeBob's face pressed against the camera, with his mouth exploded open and eyes black, with a deafening loud scream. I jolted up and turned my volume down, and then the camera starts moving around like insanity. You can't even tell what's going on. It was worse than anything that Pokemon could ever put out. The clip then goes black for a minute and 38 seconds. It comes back inside the Krusty Krab, dead silent. All of a sudden, the same face was pressed against the camera appears, but this time the scream was definitely loud. It only lasted for about a fourth of a second. Then the rest of the episode, it goes back to SpongeBob crying in the chair, but after every 10 seconds, SpongeBob gets a little more decayed. And the sound gets a little more distorted. By the end, all that is left is static and screaming. You can see SpongeBob running again in the background of the static. But it lasted for the last 4 seconds. There was one text on the screen that said, "One-timed action will be badly." One-timed action will be badly. Exactly that, as if it was written by a preschooler. After the clip had finished, my computer shut down. After seeing the video, I had never been the same. I've been angrier, crueler, and more anxious than ever before. It haunted my mind all the time. I regret downloading the video in the first place. I wish I could just go back in time. Well, it only has been 2 years since I viewed Spongecry.avi, and I'm far from recovering from such a shock after viewing the clip. My computer has been taken to Best Buy for repairs, and I hopefully have this video eliminated from my PC forever. Hopefully it will not haunt the doorsteps of my mind ever again. I will be getting a call by them from the end of this week, if not longer. If that would do my well-being a world of good use, that seeing that godforsaken video of SpongeBob crying and turning into a decomposing mess every 10 seconds gone forever. But one question lingers in the video clip that day. Who the hell wrote "one-timed auction will be deadly" anyway? I went to a hacker friend of mine who was able to translate the gobbledygook that was in the video, and maybe he could tell me what it meant. He was much braver than I to view Spongecry.avi and asked me to leave the room. 17 years old and had a lot of value. After all, he was my best friend and was willing to do anything. I heard him say to me, "Dude, it's fine, you can come back in, video's not playing." After deciphering the text from the original Spongecry video, it was indeed written in the style of a preschooler. Here's what he said: "One-time actions will be deadly." I looked at him skeptically. "What does that even mean anyway?" I asked him. The voice I heard on the video that was SpongeBob crying was not Tom Kenny at all, he replied. "Well, that's fine and dandy and all and everything, but what the hell does that have to do with the text you just translated?" He picked up his bottle of Pepsi that he'd been drinking, took a swig, and placed a glistening bottle down on his desk. "Dude," he said calmly, "I'm getting to that, don't worry. The shady-looking scribble I saw that looked like it was written by a preschooler was written by a preschooler. It's too real to be CGI or used in any video editing software. It was written by a person on an actual animation cell. That would explain why the Crayola crayon looked too real." We hit the road from Malibu to Los Angeles City looking for answers. My friend was planning to have the video analyzed and pieced together from the puzzle that was when the video was made. "So that wasn't Tom Kenny's voice?" I asked him. As I watched the sun go down over the Malibu horizon as we drove. After all, it would only take 50 minutes until we reached Los Angeles. It was a woman's voice. Tom Kenny would not break down and cry that real intensely when he was doing an episode of SpongeBob. When you see SpongeBob cry in the episode, you know it's just comical, but the woman was heard crying in place of Tom. "Something did not seem right," he said. After going to the police with the story, here's what they said. On this episode of SpongeBob SquarePants, Tom Kenny, who never missed a voice acting session in his life, took a sick leave and the episode was put on hold. A woman in her mid-20s, same voice heard in the SpongeCry video, claimed that she was a family member of Tom and said she could do any SpongeBob character voice known to man, especially SpongeBob, and asked the production crew, even Steven Hillenburg, the show's creator at the time, if she could fill in for Tom while he was out sick. They didn't see any harm done in that, but the one weird thing I couldn't put my finger on is, why would this woman ask for the animation and audio crew to leave the room? Was she wanting to do this by herself? Was she really that talented at animating and voice acting? Sure seems like it. Since no one was allowed to enter the recording studio where the voice actors went, and since it was soundproof, this gave the woman a lot of time to do the cartoon. I also found out that the cartoon was originally going to be no weenies allowed, but this younger woman had entirely different plans for this episode. She looks at the script, where she stood near the microphone where Tom originally stands. Was about to say her lines, and for no reason, she just starts crying, screaming as if she was crying over the loss of a loved one or finding a family member dead from a heart attack. Again, nobody bothered her. Nobody came into the studio, and what sounded like an eternity was actually 90 minutes. The woman comes back out of the studio looking and acting normal, even though she had teary eyes, and ran into Bill Fagerbeck, the voice talent behind Patrick Star. Fagerbeck asked, "You okay?" She told him that her tears were from where she was laughing too hard after reviewing the finished episode, and then smiled. Bill chuckled and commented on doing a good job. At the end of the day, my friend's mother, who worked on the phone as a phone tapper for the Los Angeles Police Department, was able to identify this voice. The voice you heard in the clip was the ex-girlfriend of one of the animators at the Nickelodeon Animation Studio. She had been stalking the animator after he got married. When he blew her off too many times, her actions got more and more erratic. She even went so far to kill and disembowel her dog. Other officers caught and arrested her for animal cruelty and stalking, my mom's friend told me. But why did the clip only last like a near 7 minutes and the handwriting done by a preschooler? What about that? I asked. That message was written by the woman's 3-year-old son as part of the request. The cartoon itself was supposed to be 30 minutes like any actual SpongeBob cartoon. The other half of the episode became lost in the internet. It could be anywhere. The police commissioner who came into the office was carrying a cup of coffee for me, a soda for my best friend, and a bottled water for my friend's mom. I overheard you talk about the lost SpongeBob episode that was supposed to be filmed in place of No Weenies Allowed, he said to us giving our drinks. What do you know about this cartoon? I asked. I was feeling tired and hungry. The coffee he gave me should have been able to perk me up during this time. I felt like I wanted to sleep for a damn year. Rumor has it that the cartoon never aired and No Weenies Allowed was shown instead, which was a big load off of everyone's shoulders. My 2 little daughters are big SpongeBob fans, and so am I. Anyway, I was reading an article on Yahoo which says that the cartoon you were talking about got circulated via mobile text message. So if that's the case, and whoever finds it, we can put an end to this mess, the police commissioner said. At that moment, I felt that everything was working out fine. I felt my stomach froze as I noticed a message displayed on my iPhone. 1 missed call. I was able to brush it off, and I thought it was just another telemarketer trying to sell me something, until I noticed the attached item that came with the message. What is it, man? My friend asked. He noticed a look of concern and confusion on my face. I think I found the cartoon, I replied, my voice nearly fading. Open the video, the police commissioner said calmly. My friend's mom was anxious to see the other lost half of the episode. As the video wrote to life, it didn't resume like a video that you would see on YouTube where you go part 2 or whatever. It showed the regular introduction with the pirate painting being his old jolly self, Kid singing to the SpongeBob SquarePants theme, and SpongeBob playing the flute with his nose. After the created by Steven Hillenburg byline was displayed, I did not hear any music, but the sound of a heart beating. Then, faintly, various news report audio clips. Authorities continue to release details of the murders. There is still no explanation on why it all happened. I heard then the sound of a woman weeping softly. This is where it gets a little scary. The clips continue. The medical examiner says he expects to positively identify most victims. A file cabinet in the refrigerator and open boxes. The police department continues to be flooded with calls from families with missing loved ones. Says he's even killed more. Arrested on suspicion of mass murder. Some of these murders have been at least committed suicide or homicide on the city outside limits. The title screen came up. SpongeBob Cry 2. A fucking sequel. Just as I remembered, SpongeBob in his big red chair, all the furniture gone, poor little Gary lying dead, lifeless and mauled beyond recognition. I wanted to cry because I saw Gary dead. Poor little fella. My heart hurt for him. But I tried to remain calm. As SpongeBob continues to get more and more decayed, looking like a walking putrefied mess every 10 seconds. He became when he cried. He stopped, turned, and looked at the viewer. His skin was already a mucky-looking mess, and he looked like more like Carry-On wearing his trademark shark shoes and little red tie. All SpongeBob ever did in his first video was cry, but now he started to speak. So this is what it takes for you to talk to me, Evan. Evan was one of the names of the animators at the Nickelodeon Animation Studios for SpongeBob. Why couldn't it have been you to ask me as your wife instead of Stephanie? She doesn't love you. I loved you. You love that stupid dog too, more than me. I knew I was stupid to turn you down in high school, but I was a stupid girl back then, and you didn't know any better. I was young and stupid. You happy? I wanted to be your lover, but I was too busy having my head up Eric's ass to even care. You're right, I was using Eric and making him look like a fool. I wanted to marry him, but I was so young and stupid. You had every right to threaten me when I was messing with you and your family. It was my own damn fault for costing you a lover those years ago. I had a mental illness, but I didn't want to tell you because I was afraid you would hate me forever. But I guess you do, don't you? Georgia told me not to kill your beautiful dog, but I went and did anyway. I killed your freaking Malamute, baby. The reason why I told Georgia about you is because I wanted her to know how sweet you were and how much I loved you. But I guess you're never gonna let me. Aren't you serious? When I was pregnant with our child, you know that you were never gonna love me. I thought I'd just ruin your life by ruining your favorite cartoon. SpongeBob nearing decomposition. As the lamentation and the commentary continued, SpongeBob turned to a Walking Dead skeleton as the crying gets more violent and he continued to talk. But like I said, this is not Tom's voice at all. This is a mentally insane woman who had been driven away every boyfriend that ever had in her life because of her severe manic depression. She never admitted it to anyone because it made her weak and everyone would leave her from going popular to unpopular in the blink of an eye. When SpongeBob starts to turn into a grave-like skeleton, the inside of his house starts to decay from the years of neglect. The wallpaper peeling off the wall, and Gary now a putrefied mess. My best friend, despite the fact he remained calm, puked in the wastebasket after seeing Gary as a dark green puddle of slime and rotting flesh, and his shell now aged and cracked. Until you accept me back in your life, Evan, I'm going to continue to wreak havoc on you. The animators at your precious Nickelodeon Studios, your friends, your family, and your life in general. You do not deserve Stephanie. I'm sorry you hate me. I'm sorry you don't want to be back in life. I know we can only be friends, but I still don't care if you hate me or not. I still love you, and so does Georgia. So does all my friends. The next thing I remember seeing in this savage cartoon was the crying became less intense and softened. Oddly, SpongeBob's furniture returned to his house, materializing on demand, popping back into his place with a cartoony pop sound that you'd see in the average SpongeBob episode. The wallpaper appearing back in the pineapple just like new. A light shined from above on the now rotted away puddle of sludge. That was Gary, now bringing him back to life. While I heard an angelic heavenly choir singing, and a soothing twinkling sound, the stardust encircling him, returning to his happy Gary self. Gary was alive! Seeing him alive, but now on the floor where he once lay dead, was now producing his cute little snoring meows. The little guy was tired. SpongeBob came back to life too, from being a rotting, putrefied Walking Dead skeleton to his normal spongy self. SpongeBob was still sad. He went over to where his sleeping snail was, gave him a kiss on one of his eye socks, and walked back to his bedroom. Still in the woman's voice, I heard her say very softly through her tears, "I'm sorry." Then a TV test pattern showed up at the end of the episode after a cut back to black sequence. Turns out this lovesick, fail attraction-esque woman was the one behind the Spongecry episode. She was at one point thought a sought-out actor horror film animator who had just had a nervous breakdown after she had been dumped, which is what explains SpongeBob turning into a ghoul. Creator Hillenberg reported the woman to police and scheduled to have her appear in court. She refused to testify against Nickelodeon Animation Studios and later committed suicide out of remorse. I was so fortunate enough to delete part 2 of this episode from my iPhone. Since this whole mystery was solved, I will be able to sleep better at night from now on. A little post-mortem advice to the lovesick girl who made Evan's life a living hell. He said he didn't want to have to do anything with you, and he's happy with his new wife and life. When a guy drops your ass, no means no, bitch. The nightmare was finally over. Wow, that was so lengthy. Now, I really love the good ending. Like, having a happy ending in a creepypasta is really, really rare. Now, usually you get a abrupt bad ending, but this one was a good ending, which most creepypastas do not have. Now, the only cliche besides the swearing and the time length and the blood and gore was just, how I would state of like animal abuse and cruelties, like when the lovesick woman said she killed like Evan's Malamute. I mean, seriously, who would do such a terrible thing like that? That's just mean. Anyways, so another cliche was like, it would have been better if it was an abrupt ending, but I'm okay if it has a good ending, because most creepypastas do not have those kinds of endings, Then again, it's just a creepypasta, and you can't expect things to be real. Or can we? Anyways, I hope you like this creepypasta reading, or should I say double creepypasta reading of both parts. And what creepypasta do you want me to read next? This is Geoffrey Sambursky, and I am out.